Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be looking at how we can use AXIOS in the React framework to actually retrieve data. So this is just a React framework that I have created, and in here we are going to be going into our app.js. So what we want to do is to actually clean out the template that React had created for us. So we just want to take all of that out because we don't need them for this tutorial. And the next thing that we will want to do is to import some of React libraries. So we are going to be so let's just make sure that it's clean and clear. And what you see on the left is actually the API where we will be retrieving the data from. So there's some attributes. So we've got the image, we've got the title. What other do we have? We've got things like the category, the ratings, and we've got things like the description. So these are the attributes that we actually want to retrieve from our API. Then the next thing we want to do is to actually import our library. So the first library we are going to be importing is the use effect library. And also, we also, of course, need to import our use state as well. And we are going to be importing all of that from React. Now, just like I mentioned in my previous video, when I did data retrieval using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, this is just another way of actually retrieving data. So we also want to import, of course, AXIOS from AXIOS. But before we do that, we have to actually install that dependency. We have to install the AXIOS dependency. So I'm just going to go to my terminal. And then I am going to be installing the AXIOS dependency, which is npm install AXIOS. And then we're just going to run that. So that is just going to install AXIOS. So just the same way we had all the methods of fetching data, this is also another method as well. So now we want to make a GET request using the AXIOS dependency that we just installed. And the next thing that we are going to do is that we're actually going to use the use state. So we're just going to declare a variable, and in that const we are going to have the products, and of course we are going to set products, and we have set products, and that would be equal to use state. So in this retrieval, we want to also handle the response in a try and catch error as well. But before then, we want to also make use of use effect. So the use effect will also enable us retrieve the data we want from the API. Then after that, we want to use the try and catch method just to store to be able to just in case we get any errors while we're actually retrieving the data. So that is the reason why we use the try and catch method. So the AXIOS makes use of promises to handle our responses. So we are just going to be having const response and await AXIOS. And we want to get, so basically what we want to get is the data in the URL. So we are just going to go and grab the URL, the API URL, and we are going to be pasting that there as well. And after that, what we want to do is to use the set products, and we want to put that into the response dot data. And now we have that. We also want to try the catch method error where we want to actually log in any errors that we encounter. And so that is console. We can just write console.error. And inside that, we want to just pass in a string, and we could just say error fetching data. And in that error fetching data, we want to also assign the variable error as well. So now we have set our try and catch method. Now the next thing is for us to use the fetch data. So we have that as fetch data. And we are just gonna make sure that we clear out all of the red lines. Okay, so that's fine now. So now we want to return the data in the API URL. So we know that the API contains an image, a title, a category, a rating, a price, and the description. So I already have the styling for the image. So let's just go over it. So we've got a container styling, a grid styling, a card styling, and of course the card content styling. So just to save time, I just have that somewhere. We're just going to save that. Now I can reference the styling from our index.css file, and I can just reference it right in our app.js. So now we have, so now I want to actually display the data in our API URL. But the first things, I'm just going to have an h1 tag, and I'm just going to say products from the API. And then the next thing I want to do is to actually create a div class, and from the styling I can just give this one, I want to create the grid styling, and in there I want to map the products. So we want to map the products. So basically the map function is a function that helps us display data from the API to our web page. So we are just going to have the product.map, product.id as well. And also we want to create another div, and we are going to create a key, and that is, and then we're going to pass in the product.id as well. And we want to give this class name the card. So basically the card is usually how each size of the image would be displayed in our web page. And then the next thing is I want to pass in the image that I am retrieving from the API. And so I can just use the product.image, and also give that an alt as well. And we can set the alt to product we want it, yes, we also want to give it an alt. And we can just set the alt to product.title. So now we have successfully been able to get the image and the title, but we also have things like the category, the description, the rating, the price. So these are the things we also need to extract from our API. So I am going to be using also another div. I'm going to be creating another div. So in this div that I will be creating, I will be able to pass in, I will be able to retrieve the category, the description, and the price, as well as the rating. So for this class name, I'm just going to pass the card content. I'm going to be passing the card content, and I want to also retrieve the title of each product, and I want to be setting that to an H2 element. So I'm just going to say product.title. And now that we have been able to get the title, the next thing that I want to get is the category. But rather than using the same H2 element, I would want to use a paragraph element. So I'm just going to be setting that category, and then I'm going to be using the curly braces, and I'm going to be calling product.category. Now, just to save time, because I'm going to be retrieving the rate, the price, and the description, I'm just going to copy this 4 times because it's literally the same code. I'm only changing the attributes in the data. So I'm just going to change that to from category, and I can change that to rating. And then right in the curly braces, I am going to be pointing to rating as well, and rating.rate, because that's how the API attributes stored that data. And then the next one is the price, and I'm just gonna change that as well to price. And the last one is the description, and I'm gonna also change that to product.description. So now we have successfully gotten all the attributes in our API. The next thing we want to do is to actually save our app.js file, and then see what it looks like on our browser. So we can just save our file and then go to our browser, and then you can see that the way we styled each of the attributes, it's exactly how it's showed. It's actually how it's displayed. Of course, you can also do a bit of more styling, but just for the purpose of this tutorial is to actually just retrieve the data, so we can see that all of the data has been retrieved successfully. So of course you can style it, a bit more. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.